Mandible Judy stream, welcome to the show. Tonight we're talking to Scott Poythress, and we've been having such a damn good time that we've been going the last 10 minutes without having talked to you. So
you missed gold nuggets.
Gold nuggets. Welcome to the
show. Siren in the background. Did anybody hear the siren but me?
I know I heard it.
Siren.
I thought we've been recording the whole time. I was fucking around with my video and audio settings.
Yeah, that was.
We missed all of that. That was gold.
It really was.
Yeah,
it was pure.
Sad gold.
Scott Poythress, thanks, man, for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You and I go back. Probably we met each other about a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that. I've had the supreme pleasure of getting to direct you and get your kind of feedback on my horrible writing, and it's really been a joy. But I think for the people at home who don't know you, but certainly should because they've seen you in theaters, tell us kind of who you are and where you come from and all that.
Sure. Grew up in Charleston until I was like 5. Then we moved to Marietta, which is a suburb of Atlanta, in 1981. That makes me 45 years old. It's already on IMDb, so I don't really care about sharing that. I've been doing this professionally for 30 years. My first, since I was 8, up until 15, I wanted to be an animator for Walt Disney. And then I just get bit by this acting thing in high school and in theater and just never looked back. I just fell in love with it. And then I went to the University of Georgia, got my theater degree, promised my dad I'd get my degree before I went to do anything else. And he's like, get your degree. I don't care what you do whatever you want. It's like, I got it. Got my piece of paper. It's on the wall behind me. Nobody's ever seen it. Nobody cares. This is a theater degree. Okay. And then I moved to LA with $300 and my little Honda CRX for 6 months, crashed on couches. Didn't even have headshots. Didn't even have headshots. Within 6 months, I'm selling the car for parts to get money for a plane ticket to fly back to Atlanta, which I did. That was in 99, 2000. I remember watching Columbine live happen on TV. So I think that was fall of 99, I think. And then I came back and then kind of regrouped, got involved in theater. I met Claire, my current wife. She's also an actor, incredibly talented. We got involved in the independent film scene, something called Dailies with Push Push Theater. That ended up being our film school, which got really involved with some of my closest friends to this day, including Dave Bruckner, Jacob Gentry, Dan Bush, Ben Lovett, who has done the scores for all these films we've done for years. And Bruckner's movie, The Night House, is about to come out August 20th. I'll plug his film. All these dudes were in our wedding. We've been the film school for us was dailies. So when I'm not in front of the camera or having something written for me to play whatever small role, I'm literally picking up craft services. I'm holding a boom mic. I'm scouting locations. This was how we learned making film. And this was in 99, 2000, 2001. OG days in Atlanta, guerrilla fucking filmmaking. So we're literally hopping turnstiles with a handheld Sony XD cam and stealing shots in MARTA and making movies. You can't do that these days.
You can.
You'd be thrown in jail. But if you can, it'd be hard to get away with. But at this time, it wasn't a thing. Atlanta wasn't this hub.
Right.
It was in the early to mid 90s. We had I'll Fly Away and In the Heat of the Night. These were pretty popular shows. But we didn't have the tax incentives as they stand today, which has brought all this production here. So cut to 2007, Claire and I moved to LA for another 2 years. 2008, 2009, the writer's strike happened. Never-ending SAG-AFTRA negotiations. There was just the work was kind of drying up, so everything's kind of going non-union. Meanwhile, we're watching all this stuff happening back on the East Coast. We're and we owned a home here in Decatur. We're why don't we go back? Let's go back, and we can kind of regroup, start from the ground up, build our co-star credits, work your way up that ladder with co-star, guest star, or whatever credits. If you're an actor, that makes sense to you if you're in that acting world, which we have done. But since then, there's no reason to go really anywhere else. There's so much work here. So 2013, me and another married couple, Claire and another married couple, Jason McDonald and Catherine Dyer, opened up a acting studio here in Grant Park called Drama Inc. So 8.5 years later, we have grown, fortunately, into a conservatory. We accidentally have grown into something that has since seen nearly 6,000 actors come through our doors. And it's not totally altruistic. I mean, the more we all look better in this market, the more we have better opportunities for larger roles. I'm not just, here's your coffee, ma'am, thank you, and I'm gone. Right. You know, I'm now reading for heavy recurring guest stars, even potential series regulars. I mean, there are tons of people I know on different shows from this market who are just blowing up. They're literally series regulars on some of the biggest shows on television you've ever watched, like The Walking Dead, and I did tons of stuff. So
that's all in Georgia? That's amazing.
It is. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Melissa McBride, she is a really good friend. She plays Carol on The Walking Dead. She used to run the camera at Stillwell Casting, like filming actors for their little commercials, non-union commercials. And she, you know, been in the trenches with us for a long time. And she's so talented and so deserving. And she did a movie with Darabont called The Mist. Handful of years. It's phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Yeah. Anyway, he fell in love with her in that. It was. Yeah. Still is, actually. Yeah.
Well, right. There were a couple different The Mists at the time, and I was just trying to figure out which one.
Yeah, it is King's The Mist that Darabont directed. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And he fell in love with her on that production and literally just brought her onto The Walking Dead, and then just kept expanding her role. Now she's about to get a spinoff, and yeah. I don't know what it's called or anything, but yeah, she's literally the star of what's going to be a spinoff of that world. That's just one of, you know, a handful of examples of people who can live in this market without having to go to LA or New York or Chicago or London and make a living doing this. It's pretty cool. So anyway, that's
amazing.
It is. Yeah, it's cool.
It's fun.
And then
sorry,
go ahead, Clayton. Sorry.
From my point of view, it's been fun to watch your. I know, right? So there's a little bit of a lag here, folks. It's fun to see the ecosystem evolve around things like Drama Inc. and evolve around you guys, while you're also, because I think it needs to be said, both you and Claire, and I think your other two business partners as well, are still working actors while also spinning up this. I'm not sure if the right word is incubator, but maybe it is, for all these kind of baby actors who are coming up in the world, certainly in Atlanta, and to watch the industry in Atlanta grow out of you guys is really cool. I mean, because you guys
that's fair.
Huge
Yeah,
stuff.
Totally. Yeah, I totally agree. What I'm most proud of is just offering a venue and a network where actors, people can come, and information is currency in what we do, right? Learn about this industry, learn about what new agent in town is full of shit, learn what casting directors are casting what, learn what it's true. There are a lot of vultures in this market. And we smell it. I've smelled it for a long time. I'm very protective of this market, and we smell it from a long ways away.
Although there was that one moment, well, that's not PC, I'm not gonna go there. Never mind. Never mind.
Are you kidding?
No, now you got to say it.
Now, yeah.
There was that one moment I was told to come onto the casting couch, and things got weird. But beyond that, I thought it was. You don't do that. You don't do that for.
I thought the door was locked.
Yes. Respect that privacy.
Right. I am most proud of providing something I wish I had when I got out of college with a theater degree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do I make money doing theater? Well, you won't, most likely. You'll multi-hyphenate. You'll have multiple other jobs, but unless you're on Broadway running 8 months out of the year, 7 to 10 shows a week, you were not. And certainly in Atlanta, you're not going to make money doing theater. It'll be a passion project, and that's great. What I love is the collaboration of film and television. I love long form storytelling. I love making independent film. I love feature film. I love studio films. Whatever. I mean, if it pays and it's a fun project I want to be on, and paying my rent, why would I possibly not want to do that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is it as bad out there as it is in LA and New York and stuff like that? I've had limited experience with the background work in acting. I ended up just behind the mic more than anything, voice work. But My one definite, like a long day where I got a featured extra role, and believe it or not, because of this, I became a bad guy that was trying to kill Jimmy Smits in some pilot that never got released. But the director and the assistant director were great. I mean, working directly with them, right in front of the camera, getting a whole bunch of stuff done. They were like really excited, blah, 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 blah. And then when they gave me a prop, the prop people were like, bring this right back after you're done. So I did that, and the assistant director was like, how come you didn't come when I told you to come? And I was like, I had to give that prop back. And then suddenly I didn't exist anymore. They didn't talk to me. Nothing. So I'm curious if that's something you've experienced on a regular basis, or was that a unique situation?
On a regular basis, no. But every set is totally different. There are lots of egos, and depending on the budget, there's a lot of money and a lot of pressure. So
That's true.
if somebody drops a ball somewhere, it's so easy for somebody to say, you know what, fuck it, we're moving on. I don't need the coverage anymore. I don't need to deal with whoever dropped the ball. I doubt anybody was blaming you.
No, I didn't think they were, but it was just that immediate, like, cold shoulder.
I think it might have been because you were technically doing extra work.
Yes, absolutely.
And it doesn't matter if it's featured or whatever. If you are, it's the clear difference between extra and principal, and they just don't have respect for anybody who's technically an extra.
I completely understand that too.
Yeah,
That's
time
my
is money.
my thought, right?
They don't care about background.
Absolutely.
Background is not their main priority right now.
Right.
If you're blurry in the shot anyway, they got the shot. They're moving on. So,
If you're a principal, it's a whole other thing.
Oh yeah.
Even if that principal is just saying one word or utterance.
Right. Well, I've had that same experience in voice work. When you're, the main voice, you're going to get a lot more attention, a lot more whatever you need, than anybody that's doing a background voice or anybody that's doing a secondary.
Mhm.
I mean, as it should be.
yeah, it all comes together in the edit anyway, on camera or voiceover. I mean,
Yeah. Scott, it's interesting that we found ourselves here in the conversation, because one of the things I noticed about I Trapped the Devil is that it seems to be a very acting focused film. I loved it, by the way. It's such a mood piece. It's really a slow kind of pot boiling. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's just kind of
it honestly kind of turned into a chamber drama. I mean, one location, simple to shoot. It was cold as hell in the dead of winter in Sheridan, Wyoming, because that was brutal. But it was, for lack of a better word, it was a simple shoot because of mainly the three of us, with Chris Sullivan, who was strictly voiceover, and there was nobody behind the door. But we got his voice later on, and he kills it. I mean, the movie would not be what it is without his voice at the devil.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Was very unsettling, to be sure. So if you guys haven't seen this, it's I Trapped the Devil. You can get it on Amazon right now. It had been on Netflix. I don't think it is now. You can find it on YouTube streaming, probably most other streaming services that you pay per view.
Like Hulu
on.
too.
It was definitely on Hulu, but I don't know how long that contract is up with them. For as far as like free, while you're paying for the service.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, very cool. I mean, I was impressed and struck by how the actors seem to really hold sway. If somebody in the scene wanted to take a little extra time with a line, it was clear that the director was ready and willing to give you the time to deliver that line the way you wanted to. And I thought that was pretty awesome. And you have like the three actors who pretty much command the film, right? For the most part, for most of the film. And and almost all the scenes are between either all three of them or some subset of that thereof. It's super fun. So how long was the shooting schedule for that film?
13 days.
Would you say?
Principal is 13. Yeah. Leading up to it, we rehearsed for a while. I was there for like a week before we started shooting in Sheridan. Got to know Josh Lobo, our writer-director. Young guy. This is his first feature. And since then, we've grown very close. He's fantastic. He's talented as hell. He knows film, and he's hungry. And he has a lot of stuff up his sleeve that he wants to be working on in the future. So he's a commodity to a lot of people right now, which is cool.
The movie is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. I know you can rent it on Amazon. I don't know. It's not a Prime Video.
Uh-huh.
In other words, you don't get it for free if you have Prime. You have to rent.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
If you have Hulu, Mandy,
Oh, that's fine. You can call me that. Uh-huh.
call you Mandy. Okay.
Yeah.
If you have Hulu, I'm pretty sure you can watch it for whatever you're paying for Hulu right now.
Yeah, I don't have. Okay.
Right. There you go. But yeah, very cool. I mean, there are a lot of stylistic quirks and flourishes in there in the direction.
It visually dark as hell, especially when you get in that basement. I mean, it's literally hard to see a lot. So I definitely recommend cranking your best speakers and killing any ambient light before you watch this.
Yeah, really good sound design, really good score. There's a lot of use of low frequency rumbles and tones and things that really are effective. Yeah, very cool. It came together. So yeah, I mean, was that how many of the people in that? I mean, it sounds to me like that was very much a communal effort. I mean, obviously the 3 lead actors were the producers. That's one thing that you notice right away in the credits. How much of the crew was that very tight knit community, and were there a lot of people you had to bring in from the outside?
No. I think at any one point, at most, we had another 9 crew members. Most of them stayed in that house. Me, AJ, and Susan stayed. Susan brought her husband Matt, and they're at that time young baby. And Sheridan, or excuse me, Susan Burke is from Casper, which is not far from Sheridan. So she grew up in the area. So she was able to visit family. Anyway, she and Matt, her baby, stayed at a hotel close by. Me and AJ stayed at another hotel close by.
Wild.
Called the In Place, and it was
her husband in real life was named Matt, and her husband in the film was named Matt. That's
yeah.
I always love it when those things happen. Very cool.
Is that an intentional choice, or was that just a piece of synchronicity that just came in there?
I think it was coincidence.
Yeah.
But Susan, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Smashed. It's an amazing movie. James Ponsell directed. She wrote it. Aaron Paul stars in it with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and they're alcoholics battling their addiction. The movie's phenomenal, and it's autobiographical, written by Susan. Definitely recommend checking that out. Susan is an incredibly talented actor and writer, and just a very, very good person. So, check out Smash.
What so I think that a lot of your work tends to focus around the weird. I think it sounds like the things that excite you are things that tend to focus on the weird. So you're
fair enough.
Well, I mean, just you've worked with us for a little bit. All of the stuff we've done is the weird, and it seemed like
I like offbeat, man. I grew up watching trauma films. I mean, I like different. I love indie. I love Cassavetes. He's my favorite filmmaker. There's nothing like normal middle of the road about him. That's just what kind of runs in my DNA. That's the stories I like to tell.
What really mean apart from just being? Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
So,
dude,
Chris,
Nick and Blair, they're doing a remake. They're doing a redo right now. I cannot wait.
They are
Peter Dinklage.
Whoa, no way!
Yeah.
They got Peter for that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh, the cast is badass. Lee Eddy, who's the wife of Macon, is an actress in Mandible Judy, our podcast, and she's excellent too.
Oh, very cool.
But I did the music for the original Toxic
What?
Avenger. Well, the horror. Yeah, there were like 2 or 3 horror cues, and I did them. So everything else is basically needle drop or pop songs.
God, that's amazing. I'm like sitting here with royalty. Like, no clue.
just wait until he tells you when he worked with Bjork, for fuck's sake. I mean, come on.
Oh
What?
yeah.
Yeah.
This guy,
Oh.
and he made it like it was nothing. Like, oh yeah, just
I'm
did this
just-
thing
I'm
with
just-
York.
I've just been around long enough. You stick around long enough, you work with cool people.
That's true.
Like you,
That's true.
I honestly, 10 years from now, somebody's gonna be like, "You worked with those guys? Oh my god!" So
That's amazing.
yeah, and I'll still be nowhere. You guys will all be famous.
I know. Hey, it'd be the same thing. I got the same thing because I worked, when I was on the road for 10 years, all some of the, major musical acts that I worked with or, got to know and everything. And you mentioned them and people like, really? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they were famous, weren't they? I didn't even.
Yeah, right. I
I've
just
seen
farted
that
too
guy's
much.
underwear. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I bought blow for that guy that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're talking about weird over here, Clayton. You know, Mr. Hairless Cat over here. You've got the weird covered. So
Well, not only do I have the weird covered, I write the weird. The weird excites me.
you are the
But
weird one.
I'm weird. But no, I mean, so like, do you
Weird.
the question really is more: are you drawn to those particular pieces as an actor, or does it come to you? Like, I think there's kind of there's a potential for it to come both ways, but how do you tend to see that?
I think it comes to me. I'm not at a position in my career in which I'm like sitting here with 9 scripts in front of me with these offers. Like, man, which one do I want to work? I'm torn. I'm torn. Right? I'm not there. I think it's been serendipitous that I've been able to work on things that I find really fun and people that I just adore, many of whom are my best friends, like Bruckner and Dan Bush and Jake Gentry and Ben Lovett, these people that I mentioned, Josh Lobo now, AJ Bowen, who's literally like my brother. I mean, I think we've done 10 features now together. He's the darling of the indie, genre horror world. Most people, if you follow those films, know who he is. And I've kind of, in certain respects, ridden his coattails a little bit, and he's pulled me onto certain projects that he was already on board, and I'm grateful to him for that too. It's just I've been fortunate to work on stuff that has turned out to be really cool. Some of which not so cool. Some of which may never see daylight. I don't know. I'm doing it and I'm loving it, and I'm not trying to be on billboards. I'm not trying to be. I don't want to be famous, and I'm not really in fear of that happening. Yeah, it could. I guess. I'm never going to say it would never happen, but it's not certain. Not something that I'm seeking. I just like telling stories and making movies.
I mean, I think
I'm curious too. Oh, sorry.
No, please.
Does the opportunities that you have working in Georgia, does it ever also, like your agents there, have auditions for you that would be elsewhere in other town, like work that wouldn't just be located there? Or is it there's so much there it doesn't even matter? Or
it's interesting that you asked that, because I'm in what you would call essentially the Southeast market, but the Southeast market has grown exponentially to include everything from the Florida Keys up to the Carolinas, up to Baltimore, and now out to Albuquerque. So in this market, me and tons of actors I know are reading for like Better Call Saul. This Albuquerque Netflix production hub is massive, and obviously Netflix is taking over streaming, not only with just the sheer amount of content, but the money involved. There's so much money and so much storytelling, not only with features, but long form storytelling and series. And it's not just Albuquerque. I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, they're shooting tons of, I don't even know how many are shooting just in Georgia right now. A good number. But so to answer your question, yes, but also my wife and I and this other married couple, Jason and Catherine, who run Drama Inc., we have been maintaining for the past, 5 years, a studio apartment in Los Angeles. So we split our time out there. I have a married in LA, so I'm still being submitted. I'm reading for stuff coming out of LA, and all that is based pretty much anywhere else in the world that it's being filmed. So to answer your question, it's kind of a global career.
Oh, that's great. So and that's because you're
an actor. I'm an actor who's based in Atlanta, but I also live in LA. But Atlanta is home because there's so much work here.
But your agents get you the work, the auditions, and the possible work all over.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's just through them. Other connections I have, like through Josh Lobo or any of these other director friends I have, we, I might filter something through my agent or manager if we're in talks to go work on something. But yeah, if that answers your question.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, of course.
That brings up two that I was curious about too. You, with Netflix having so much money and so much content, Do you think that's one of the reasons why they have? I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff. They seem to have like a separate section for the absolute, just campiest crap I've ever. I
Oh,
found one the other day.
There's such.
Yeah, I found one the other day, literally called Lamageddon.
I would watch the shit out of that. Just
Look
for
it up. Look it up. I've never seen anything that looked so amazingly bad and was still entertaining, but you had to kind of fast forward through some of it. But the llama was the best actor in the whole thing. He was amazing. Red
Was he
eyes, lasers.
practical? Is
everything.
it CG or practical or what? I mean, is it
Practical,
real?
like it was straight, yeah, it was real life. Like it starts out with animation because they're from space, whatever.
As they would be.
Yeah, and they actually come down in like, what are they called, livestock
No.
wagons with rockets. Yeah, no, just seriously, just go watch it because like the opening shot of the llama walking out of the livestock wagon with the red glowing eyes.
Oh,
That's all
God.
you need. That's all
I'm
you
literally
need.
watching this tonight.
It's amazing. It really is. It's right next to the killer couch. I'm not even gonna try.
I
and
did.
explain
I
it.
did see that.
Did you
I
see
did-
that one?
I didn't watch it. I saw a thumbnail though. I was like, "Yep," in my queue.
Yeah, and it's the couch falls in love with a woman who sleeps on the couch and whatever.
This is up with
The
the
other-
sexy stapler sort of audiobook stuff.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff.
Ugh.
But my other question actually reserves
No.
before we started tonight. They said that you had a bunch of auditions you needed to get done, so you would be really busy tonight. Are you using do you have like a setup there that you use, or just a?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious
Thankfully
about.
tonight there's only one that's due first thing tomorrow morning that I'm going to work on tonight. And I had to sign an NDA, so I can't really talk about it. But yeah, I've got
Right.
a backdrop. I've got a ring light as a backlight. I've got 2 LEDs that I can adjust color, intensity, everything. Nice HD camera, external shotgun mic. That's pretty much all you need.
Right on. There's
Yeah.
just a lot of people I know that have really gotten into it, and they've been using their phones. And
Yeah. Phones are. I mean, my God, the iPhone.
Technology.
Cronenberg shot his last 4 features on his fucking iPhone.
yeah, the technology is amazing. I mean, my S21 has 3 cameras on it. I mean, this thing is amazing.
Yeah, it's overkill for a self-tape audition. But thankfully, we've been doing this in this market since 2009, and getting better and better and better. So I mean, we know how to do a self-tape very well here, simply because out of necessity. We've had to get better for 12 years that we've been doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing with learning how to audio reels, like voice reels and stuff.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of people come to me because I mean I was a sound engineer for 10 years, and I'm still doing it, but learning DAWs instead of doing it live.
So
Yeah.
I'm curious with having that amount of history in it and watching the development the whole time, where you now have so much technology that is affordable for the average person to get into.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you noticed getting into the pro gear, does it give you a definable edge? Presuming you know how to use it, because of course you use pro gear poorly and it's going to give you a worse result.
Right. Not really. Not that there's not really a quantifiable result that I can point to and say because I went HD or because I exported at 1080p or I'm using M4V versus the MOV, whatever. I mean, no. But I will say bad audio will kill your audition. If it's between 2 people, they both have great video, but you can't hear it, like they're moving on. Like that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Audio is like so important. I would say audio is more important than like kind of a grainy video, honestly.
What would make the audio bad?
Oh, there's so much.
Any number of things. Just, I mean, yeah, I'll let you the professionals answer that. But
Oh, fuck off, Scott. Come on.
Yeah.
The professionals?
You know audio as well as us.
for,
Come
for,
on.
a, for a self-tape audition, I mean, if my
Yeah,
dog,
because like I guess what I mean is
I got
for
plane noise, any number of things that'll kill your read. Like a good take, it's a kind of a short 1 minute, but I'm in the zone. I'm getting what I want. I've got a great reader. I've got an actor who's working with me, and it's a great scene. and the audio drops out in the middle, or
Oh, yeah. Well, something obvious like that, right? But
Or like
I
a
guess I
air
siren.
just.
conditioning, siren, or the air conditioning kicks on, or
or
Oh,
yeah,
60 cycle hum from some fluorescent light 2 rooms
or if
away.
in the middle is this big fight and I blow up and it's on manual and it's not attenuated and it goes in the red zone, you're fucked. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I will.
yeah.
I will say from an audition producer standpoint, if we're ever taking auditions and I have someone who records on a phone or whatever the case is, and they do blow their audio or they don't have good mic discipline or anything that is distracting, especially when you don't have the benefit of something visual to distract yourself with, and so it's
Yeah.
all on audio. God, there's a lot that can go wrong that you're just going to go, I've got 20 other auditions that I have to listen to.
Yeah.
I'm not going
I
to
know
spend
this
my time with
person can
this.
deliver. Yeah.
it's so avoidable.
Yeah.
It's so avoidable, and it's
Mm.
for actors in this market, they should know better. You should spend a little time with it. Get to know your video, get to know your audio. You're competing with thousands and thousands of other people. Like I said, geographically, Baltimore to the Keys to Albuquerque for Stranger Things season 4, shooting in Atlanta. I'm sorry, it's great that you live in Atlanta. You're not just reading against 20 other actors in Atlanta. You're reading for thousands against thousands of other people for that role.
Yeah, I mean,
frankly-
for doing voiceovers, of course, I'm tuned in when I'm using, the equipment, and I've worked on all of that with Chris here. But but I guess I mean I sort of almost tuned out about thinking about that if I was doing an on-camera audition about like what gosh, did I miss something in audio that might have that could be picked up?
And a lot of people don't play it back. I mean, just export your video before you send it into casting. Watch it back. If it sounds terrible, redo it.
Yeah.
Learn from your
Oh, of
mistakes.
course. Yeah, of course. Hmm.
And I think
There's,
as audio engineers too, we have a curse where we can't not listen to it and can't not, tear it apart every single time.
Mm.
Yeah, and you'll hear things that become your personal pet peeves. For example, and this is the worst. And I'm the people. Mike's laughing because he knows. If you get mouth noise, I will absolutely reject your application right there. Because if I'm gonna hear that in your audition, I know for a fact I'm gonna hear it in all your performances, and I'm gonna spend a tremendous amount of time editing that, just to get.
I can't stand mouth noise, and I just started eating green apples. So
Yeah. Right. Green apples are good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
It's-
a lot of,
it's-
I
Solution
mean,
one of
all
the
the
worst
DAWs have like literally like an automatic program that can get rid of
yeah, but
clicks.
that's not.
Oh, I didn't know
no,
that.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah, but
talking about
It's not always effective. It's not always
right.
effective.
No, it's not always effective. But
Even
even
the
if
scope doesn't clip.
even if not,
Yeah.
like it's literally a filter you can run one time through, and it's going to reduce it a great deal. So even if you don't know how to get rid of your own mouth noise, or don't drink enough water, or whatever the case may be, at least put the effort in.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
hearing it at the famous
worse-
Woody Allen film Annie Hall. There's a scene where there's terrible mouth noise in the movie Annie Hall, or
Really?
Manhattan, where they're in the museum or the aquarium, that you just hear the mouth noise. And these famous actors,
Yeah.
famous scene, and you hear the mouth noise.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't have plugins back then. So you know.
Okay.
God, it's still.
No, I mean
super off-putting.
seriously, you had to get it right more. Like the actual primary recording was way more important back then. The boom person had to really know their shit. The recordist had to know their shit.
Hmm.
And you had to capture the sound properly before digital, right? Because you couldn't manipulate it very much outside of that.
Well, yeah, it's exactly the
that-
same as live music too. I mean, you had to be right on top of that EQ whenever there was something that started to feed back. You had to know exactly where to
Yeah.
squelch it. Like there was no screwing around.
It's
Mhm.
that's a really good question. So, Scott, when it comes to again looking at the advent of technology and how this has all come out into additional tools that filmmakers have to use, have you noticed on set and with actors and so on, kind of a people who do we'll fix it in post more frequently than they used to?
Production or like actors assuming that will happen.
No, like the actual in the middle of filming, where the director's like, "Oh fuck it, it's fine. We'll fix that in post."
Not really. I haven't really
But
noticed
did you-
that. I mean, I guess it depends on the production and the amount of coverage that they get. And that varies. That's all over the place. I mean, I've worked with Doug Lyman and Adam and Goyen, and some of them want take after take after take after take. Some want to get it in one, and they assume they got it, and they're moving on. I can't an equivalent across the board like answer that. This depends on the production itself. But no, I haven't really noticed, because you're also looking at probably the stars, right? We're following the money, right? If I'm on set with Tom Cruise, I'm watching Tom Cruise. Sure. I'm not worried about this person doing his little thing in the background, which is typically me. They're not like, oh, Scott kind of fucked that up. Boy, I'll fix it in post. Or they'll crop me out. I mean, they don't need to spend a whole lot of time or money worrying about what I did.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, I guess you're telling me there's hope then.
There's hope. So you're saying there's a chance.
There's not everyone's just trying to fix it in digital. That's sort of the and this
no,
is just
no, because we're not getting like tons of green screen like plated stuff, right? It's all I mean, we're on set. I mean, we're getting it. So we either get it or we didn't. So
do you guys have
isn't really an option unless you're going to spend a lot of money.
What about like ADR looping and loop groups? And is that something there?
Pretty often, like Crawford Communications, I've been there a good number of times over the past like 20 years, doing looping. That happens often.
And what about loop groups? Because that would be something that, all actors, we want to get in loop groups or just at least get some looping jobs that are, great union looping jobs.
I've never been involved with a loop group. I've only done personal ADR sessions for anything that's I'm either matching or I'm syncing something or I'm getting off camera lines for when, we're on the stars and I'm saying something or whatever. I've heard of loop groups, but I have no personal experience with them. It'd be fun. I think it'd be cool.
There's kind of a big industry of that here in Atlanta, and they're trying very, very hard to pull more of the industry to here, in the same sense that they're trying to do for animation. They're trying to get and attract the big studios to come here and do a lot of the ADR. But yeah,
is this like group scenes?
Yeah, where you're looking at. Well, I say group scenes. What I mean when I say group scenes, I'm talking about like large crowd scenes, or where you're getting a bunch of different voices all that then come in at once. Looping Atlanta is a big Facebook group that then has they used to do pre-COVID times. They were successful enough that they were doing a fully catered bar every at least once a month, I think it was. So you're talking a minimum $6,000 to $8,000 based on how many people were there just in alcohol alone. So they're successful enough that they can swing that. So and
the loop,
pack it out. I mean, it's 30 people who are.
So they rent a location, and a bunch of actors go and they record, like while they're there. Wow.
Because in New York, I mean, at least before the pandemic, there are certain people who would run loop groups, and I don't know how often they would change the actors, but basically, there would be a really high-end sound studio. And this is something that is very much like you have to be super connected to get in there, to get a job doing it, because you're getting a union day player contract, and you're getting residuals. And it's just like maybe 7 people in there who are watching all the scenes. The loop group coordinator will show all the scenes with extras, and then they're creating that bed of sound with like 7 or 8 actors who are doing all the voices of the extras in every scene of a movie or a TV show.
That's brilliant. I would love to do that, because you can't just go to like stock recordings for that. It's going to be different from from production to production.
I would love to. I just would love to. How many people are in the room?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. It'd be fun.
The only way I got in to do it was from a connection, like once, because my cousin is a freelance director. Actress turned director, and it was for the like years ago for the TV series Ed, the bowling alley thing, the bowling. I mean, yeah.
it's always funny, and it's become almost a cliche for me to say this, but it is so often who you know that gets you in the door and what you know that keeps you there.
Right.
We were actually talking to Peter Kenny, who's a voice
Who you
actor.
sleep with that gets you kicked out.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Also accurate.
True
100%.
too.
Only if you're
Very
bad.
accurate.
Only if you're bad.
Yep.
Just gonna put it out there. No. So I was talking to
Continue.
Peter Kenny the other day, who's a voice actor out of the UK, and he does a tremendous amount of ADR in addition to his like normal voice acting audiobook kind of stuff. He actually did all the audiobooks for The Witcher, also all the Ian M. Bank culture books. But he was talking about that, how there's actually, and it's interesting you mentioned the residuals. In the UK, they don't have unions and they don't have residuals. So when you
Really?
oh yeah, I was astonished. He goes,
That's
oh,
why
you
all
don't see
the
residuals
all
up
the
there?"
British actors have come to America. They're infiltrated America.
Yep.
They went to the negotiating table with SAG-AFTRA with the British producers and they're like, no, fuck off, then go. And they're like, okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Did not get the
Thatcher.
negotiate that they
Yeah,
wanted.
exactly.
Well, so what about like famous British TV series that we watch on PBS or something? Or the famous period dramas that are so popular here. Does that mean that those actors don't make that much money?
Unless you're a named, like you're the person who is there, the star at the forefront, you ain't getting shit afterward. I mean, you're gonna make it. You're living on your cost, for the film, but you're not getting residuals at that. You're not getting royalties.
In New Zealand, I have good friends who worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogies, like the trilogy, and they got hosed. He literally has action figures and like no residuals.
Oh no.
Wow.
Pretty brutal.
Ish. Which, I mean, I don't know, but so it's interesting. Then you've got these people who then will get into the ADR as a means, because that was one of the things we were talking about. Is you get into ADR as a means of kind of making ends meet to fill out the gaps of the rest of the stuff, because you're not getting residuals. There's no behind the scenes engine that can.
Why do you think Josh Lucas? I mean, we hear every Home Depot commercial. We're listening to Josh Lucas. He's making him bank.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get into the commercial, voiceover industry for years, and just
It's so
if you just
competitive.
get one commercial, just one. That's all you need.
It's so competitive, and it's worldwide competition, not
Yeah.
Southeast competition. It's or New York or LA competition.
Yeah, I think with most of the voiceovers, with so much of it, it's there's, even though there's more opportunity now through the agents that I have, where I may be, but I'm often I may be competing with people in both New York and LA, and who knows, and maybe down in the market that you're in. So,
It's interesting you talk about that, because especially with the commercial side of things, my experience from the production side has been that even though there are these huge things, like take HP for example, we did a bunch of stuff for actually one of your actresses, who's in at Drama Inc., who she came in, she used the booth, did the whole thing, but all of the direction, they didn't want to be involved in sitting in on the sessions. They changed the script 5 minutes before we were supposed to start. They changed this 10 separate times. And like eventually they kicked in a couple extra shillings for, or shekels for whatever our time was. But it was like,
That tracks.
don't expect, just because it's a huge name, that you're gonna get this, super polished professional, what have you. Just expect to get, here's low-level marketing guy who's probably got no say in it, is just as whipping boy or gal as you are.
Right, just hit record. Thank you. Just hit record.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ugh. What are you
been
gonna
there.
do? So then I guess the question becomes, what are you doing now? Can you talk about what you're doing now?
Well, no, he just said the last thing. He's got an NDA on it.
Well, not the
You talking to me? That
Not-
that,
yeah,
that
not
audition?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not even. That's not something I'm doing now. That's yet another name tossed in a hat of countless thousands. I've got an episode of Underground Railroad I'm really proud of. That's on Amazon Prime right now. That was a phenomenal series to work on with Barry Jenkins. I was really fortunate to be working on that. I just had another movie with AJ, who stars in it. It just came out on Friday. It's called Night Drive. It's kind of how do I phrase it? After hours, definitely after hours vibe. And I don't want to give much more away than that. AJ plays a shared a driver in the Uber Lyft world.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a different name, but I worked with a director writer couple named Megan Leon and Brad Baru. Brad's first film was Apple Cart, and they changed the name to Dead Night, that Barbara Crampton stars in. It's really great. If you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. AJ stars in it with Barbara Crampton and Bria Grant, Sophie Dalla, a couple other people. Anyway, Night Drive was a lot of fun to work on. So it's on VOD everywhere. It's in a handful of theaters right now. It just came out on Friday. So just check that out. That was fun.
Right on. I add that to my list of things.
Yeah.
That is a long list.
Scott, I don't know how much longer we have you, but I want to
I'm
make
good.
sure.
I'm good to hang for a few minutes. Yeah. Like I said, this
Okay,
audition I have to do, I don't even need Claire to come in here and be my reader. It's just do like a handful of lines of
Excellent.
cooking.
But I did want to make sure I asked you about your dogs. I saw some pictures of amazing looking dogs on Twitter, and I want to know about them. I want to know their names, how old they are, breed. They look like
There's a crate in the background, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You see that? It's very dark in here. You see it?
That's where Scott
Oh, yeah.
sleeps when he's
That's,
bad.
yeah, that's my bed. I sleep in there. It's a little small, but there's water. I can't complain.
Well, you could have been nobody to listen.
My dogs' names are Cabby and Jojo. They're both pit mixes. Cabby is Cabby just turned 6. I don't know if Claire's out there. I don't know if she can hear me. She'll correct me and yell if I'm
Hi,
putting anything.
Claire.
Jojo is 9. Jojo is a pointer pit mix. Tabby is a what we call a mini, or excuse me, a pocket pit. Have you ever heard of that term? I had never.
Yeah.
But he's pretty much just a 40-pound, fully grown, 2.5 foot tall pit. Anyway, they rescue us. They find us in our neighborhood. Literally, both of them found us in our neighborhood. I live in an area where over the past 10, 15 years, a lot of dogs will escape places they are not being treated very well. And they'll find us, and we bring them in. We're like, all right, I'll feed you, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to find you a home. Smash cut 2 months later, and they're literally living on our couch. And they don't go anywhere, so they just stay here.
It's great to hear about the rescues.
Yeah.
You live in Decatur still?
You? Yeah. Do you know Decatur?
Yeah. My girlfriend's has family down there. We've been down there. I've only been down there once, but she's been down there a number of times.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
It is. We love it.
Love it.
Yeah. Decatur's huge. It's a Decatur mailing address, but I don't know if you know where East Lake Golf Course is. We do not live near the golf course. We're a few blocks east of there.
Okay.
We're inside 285. We're 10 minutes from downtown Atlanta east.
ITP, as the phrase goes.
ITP, right? I learned that while I was down. Clayton taught me about ITP, OTP. Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, we like it.
For the uninitiated, what does that mean, you guys?
Sorry, say it again.
ITP.
For the
ITP,
uninitiated.
Oh, inside and outside the perimeter. So perimeter is the Interstate 285. It's a circumference that runs for 22 miles around outside Atlanta proper.
Yeah.
It's geographical, pointless.
Depending
Only on the Mandible Judy casting crew chat stream do we learn about ITP and OTP.
There you go. Depending on what year it is and where the market is, it's either fashionable or unfashionable to be inside the perimeter or outside the perimeter. I don't know what the hell it is right now. I feel like it's probably about an even prestige.
It depends on if you want land to go with your house.
God, I got to tell you, man, because I'm up in Ackworth, north of KSU, only by a smidge, but nevertheless. And even out here, I mean, they're building a ton of stuff. The housing market is insane right now.
The sprawl is very real. God. It's nuts.
You could get maybe a 9 by 16 square of grass on a house that is absolutely right next to your neighbor for $300,000 right now, which,
9
depending on
by
where you are, that's
16.
like, it's a fucking steal. I'll move there, but it ain't a steal out here.
You're talking about feet, yards, miles, what?
No, like
Miles.
That's feet. That's
Miles,
feet, dude.
acres.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
100% acres. No, that's feet. You want to get acres? You're moving out to LJ, and you get acres.
You're
out
moving
in
to
LJ.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Dude, I grew
West-
up on a
Exactly.
farm
Right.
in Maine. Okay, and we had like 3 or 4 acres on that farm, and I know because I mowed all of it like once a week. And let me, you don't do that with a push mower. You're right.
Not ATL, man. You're not getting
No.
land unless you're a millionaire. It just ain't anything.
I don't know how it is now, but I mean that was in the 70s, and we had 40 goats and dogs. I grew up with Great Pyrenees.
Goats. You had 40 goats.
Yeah, we fucking
They're
goats.
fucking goat.
40 fucking goats. It was pretty amazing, but I mean it was definitely one of those things that when you leave that and we get our age and you start looking at things that you used to do the way they were back then, and you go, God damn, how did we fuck this up so bad?
Money.
There were simpler times.
Yes,
When
No
I walked
doubts.
uphill both ways, snow, but
in the snow,
milk
no
was
boots.
$1, so there's that.
and cigarettes were 75 cents a pack. I know because I bought them from my ma.
Had some for myself. And actually, I'm in the process of narrating a book where there's a guy who's talking about going down to the general store as a 15-year-old kid buying a pack of dip. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
No. Yeah. Actually, it was.
Hey, I was
100%.
12. I was 12 when I bought my first pack of cigarettes, and it was literally from my foster mother. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
Carlton
I
Reds.
started on Lucky Strikes when I was 15,
Oh
unfiltered.
yeah.
nice.
Beautiful.
What was the
That's what my dad
top? Right? I think
God
the top
bless.
was.
Yeah, top. Well, that was
See,
just the tobacco. That was tobacco.
I quit smoking shit now 12 years 14 years ago, but that was still to this day, if someone was like, you want a rolled cigarette, I would be,
rollie.
yes. Can I have absolutely that horrible thing that is harsh as shit and makes me hate
Mhm.
myself? I would take that in a
Right.
heartbeat.
Damn straight.
Parliament,
Better than
Parliament Lights.
menthols.
Parliament Lights. That was my vice for like 7.
Oh man.
The last one was September 2012.
Nice.
I quit for like 4 years and started up again, and then finally quit because I was Reds, Marlboro Reds, and Camel
Well, Cowboy
Unfiltered.
Killers.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
I did those for
Good
22
old
years,
coffin
23
nails.
years, and Mother's Day last year I finished my last one and
For you.
just stopped. Yeah. Well,
So
you
let me-
know, 50 something, man. Your lungs start going, listen, motherfucker.
That's actually
to us?
That's an interesting point. When you're dealing with it from an acting standpoint, you've got a character who smokes. Is that ever a consideration when you're like, do I want to take this or do I want to? Because I can't imagine a director's going to go, no, dude, you fucking smoke. Here you go.
Yeah, good point.
No, not at all. I mean, there's so many like herbal or alternatives.
Mhm.
I mean, because if I lit up I smoked a lot in I Trapped the Devil. Just from take to take to take to take to take. What you're seeing isn't me smoking a ton, but during filming, from take to take to take, I got to for continuity, light up and smoke quite a bit. That was all some nasty herbal shit, but it didn't bother me that bad. If I were literally smoking like Marlboro Reds or going back to Parliament Lights, there's no way I would have died.
Mhm.
I couldn't do it.
So this is a common thing that actors get these fake cigarettes in a way.
They're called
When
marijuana.
cigarettes are on screen,
cigarettes.
I don't think it's that often, but when they do, yes, they will always have an alternative. Nobody's ever going to say, no, you got to you're smoking the Marlboro Reds. All right.
Do you actually,
Like,
do you actually
And you have
miss
to
it all?
also become easy, like to look the whole physicality of looking like a
Exactly.
comfortable
And-
smoker.
and I smoked for 17 years. I know how to smoke a cigarette. And it's
But
so
for-
easy. I see it
you got-
immediately when I'm
doing
watching an
this.
actor holding like they look like an idiot. Like, just don't smoke on camera. Please. You look so dumb.
Hilarious.
Like it's
Yeah.
obvious.
The
But
one
I
that
mean,
tried
for
to do the
somebody,
German
for
thing.
for an actor who's never smoked, then you've got to suddenly learn how to make it look right.
Go
Well,
find a
there's-
crew member. Go find a crew member who
Yeah.
surely is out there better than one, and have
he's
them
gonna be a
do a
grip.
couple. At least
Yeah.
teach them how to hold it. Not
Yeah.
even how to inhale, or at least just hold it.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's a bizarre, like the what you suffer for your craft. The whole smoking for the, like, anyone who starts out smoking, you cough your ass off first of all. Second of all, you're not doing any of these cool, like, dragon breathing things. That doesn't
No.
happen.
Oh, you're not inhaling and just doing the slow nasal exhales. Not gonna
No,
happen.
even that, like, even I smoked for probably 5 or 6 years. Even by the end of the smoking, I was never blowing it out my nose. Even to this day, if I've got something that I'm smoking, I have the most absurd affect where it'll go, you blow it all out, and then you get just a little, and then you can breathe in again, right? Right.
Then, yeah,
Yep,
you look like an idiot.
yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're spitting because it's like this. It tastes like garbage. Because then, of course, you get all the, like, the nicotine coat in the mouth, and you're like, well, now I want to throw up because
Lovely.
it's a
Oh,
thing.
try that
Why
with
do
the
people do this
non-filtered.
again?
Try that with the non-filtered.
Because
the
it's
first thing you're
addictive.
doing is you're spitting tobacco every single drag.
Yep.
Every time, and you're
Yeah.
picking it off your tongue, and yeah.
Because you've
no,
got a
Like you
better
get a
chance with
tablespoon of
heroin.
sawdust.
Yep. Yep. You know.
Ugh.
You know.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
It's like getting
no,
on a horse. You
somebody-
know, somebody who's never been on a horse, they look like an idiot. They shouldn't be on the horse. Like, don't shoot that scene. Either spend some time getting to know the horse
You
and
get a
getting them
smoking
to trust
coach.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a couple in there.
absolutely. There should be.
Probably double in there. Yeah.
It's up there with, like, all the drug paraphernalia coaches. Like, all right, so you're just shooting heroin in this scene. Here's how that works.
Mm.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Right?
All the
Or
verisimilitude.
you're the one. You're going to be smoking a crack rock through a ballpoint pen,
Oh,
which
God.
I've seen on the streets downtown LA. Seen
course.
people with ballpoint
Oh,
pens
yeah.
smoking it.
That's how it is.
And they look very
Yeah.
convincing. They know exactly what they're doing. They should be the coach. You should pay them
I-
for that.
I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know how you get into those particular scenes. I've got to imagine there's a bit of Hollywood magic in that. But I mean, you look at, like, Training Day, for example.
Oh yeah.
Training Day, you get a lot of pretty hardcore drug use. How the fuck do you fake that? I just have no idea how.
Hopefully, have a decent production consultant on set who can either walk you through it, or has personal experience with it, or can smell bullshit and at least give you some pointers. I mean, I just watched the other night. I'm a big Safdie Brothers fan, Josh and Benny, and I just watched. I don't know if you guys know what Shudder is. I'm a long time subscriber. Anyway, Heaven Knows What just dropped, and this is like their first film I'd never seen. It's from 2014, 2015. And there's a lot of heroin use in that movie, and they do it very convincingly. And not surprisingly, I mean, the Safdie brothers, I mean, they know New York, I mean, very, very well. And the gritty stuff that a lot of people don't like to look at. I'm fascinated by that, and I love it. I'm big fans of theirs. So I definitely recommend checking that out if you've never seen it. But there's a lot of heroin use in that. A lot of other drug use, too, that I was like, yeah, they know what they're doing. But they're no stranger to that world.
Well, I mean, you look at who's the guy that, wow, I'm totally blanking on an absolutely A-list actor. He played Batman in Batman.
Pattinson?
I'm sorry?
Robert
Are you-
Pattinson?
Are you
No.
are you talking about
Oh,
Val
I mean,
Kilmer?
no.
No, not Val Kilmer, because he was Joker. He played Batman. This guy, not Michael Keaton. The guy.
No, you're
two
okay.
times
So
after.
Bale?
Christian Bale. Thank
yeah.
you. When
Oh, yeah,
Christian
yeah,
Bale
yeah.
did The Machinist.
Machinist.
I
for
mean, you
sure.
look
Yeah.
at what they go through to go through that. There's a lot of people, a lot of method actors that will literally go down to like 7th Avenue and spend 3 or 4 days in Skid Row.
Yeah, there's
So
well,
you
so
get the feel.
what, Scott's? What's your opinion on that whole thing? Like, you put this
Method
for
or, are
posterity.
you method?
I am not, because I have to compartmentalize, especially if I'm wearing multiple hats, actor,
Mhm.
producer, writer, whatever. I have to have a business sense of getting our pages, making our day, getting our shots, knowing our timeline, and also bringing a performance. I can't just be in the zone of the actor, and like I think it's honestly, whatever. To each actor their own, but I kind of call bullshit on somebody who's just so in the zone. They don't even want to think about tomorrow's schedule because they're still in character. It's like, whatever. You still have to leave set. You still have to go get in a either drive yourself home or go to your hotel. Are you still literally in character when you're ordering your burger at midnight? or your late night meal or something? Like, probably
Well,
not. When you get
yeah,
on
I mean,
family, no.
if there are some that are definitely really good. I mean, the guy that played the Joker, you mentioned him just a second ago.
Heath Ledger?
Yeah, Ledger.
Yes,
He was,
arguably.
right, he was really good at just switching. Like he could
Agreed.
just switch. And I'm
Agreed.
sure that that's rare, or at least
But that's the
not.
thing. That's the thing, though. He's switching. He turned it off. He's not just so in the zone. He just can't be bothered with real
I
life.
would not be able to handle people like that. No.
I wouldn't either.
No.
That would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a little bit of ego involved in
I
some of that,
agree.
think.
But there's also there are things in method acting and just like the whole idea of substitution that you can turn on and off. And I think that a lot of people who had method acting training or do it, they don't stay in character all the time.
I agree.
No.
And yeah, it works really well for some people. For others, I kind of smell bullshit.
I know what you mean. It's kind of like maybe take a little from one technique and a little from another, and
I'm gonna
it's like a carpenter. If I'm making this beautiful box and it's got this lid and it's got these hinges. I can't make the whole thing with a hammer. I need a plane. I need a planer.
That is a really
I need
good
a hammer. I need screws. I need flathead screws. I need sandpaper. I need all sorts of things to make this come together. I need stain. It's going to end up looking beautiful, but I can't do it all with the Phillips head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's I don't remember what the hell the movie is, but Dustin Hoffman and another much more old school actor were on a set.
Marathon Man. Marathon Man.
Was it Marathon Man?
I don't know. Laurence Olivier?
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think
love
that's
that
probably what you're talking about. Yeah. So,
Is it safe? Is it safe?
Yeah, is it safe?
Yes.
Yes, it's safe. It's so safe. You wouldn't believe how safe it is. It's amazingly safe. No, it's not safe.
So, but I
Never be
guess during
safe.
that whole scene or during that whole movie filming, Dustin Hoffman was in a very method act phase, and it was all like he just got super into it and super upset and all this, worked up into it, and then he watched Lawrence going about his thing, and he'd come into a scene and kill his scene and walk off, and I guess he pulled him to the side afterward, and he goes, "How do you do that?" And he goes, "Dustin, it's called acting."
I've heard that story.
Exactly. Yeah. I knew before you said it. I knew the reference you were going to make, and it's so true.
Yeah.
Never resonates with me as opposed to being in the zone 24/7 for the 9 weeks that we're shooting this film. I'm just that guy. It's like, no, you're not. Not while you're taking a shit. Not while you're talking to your family on the phone. You're just not.
I mean,
I wonder why is it that British actors and there's so much fantastic acting that comes from over there.
Training.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
It's training.
It definitely
I
training.
agree.
They're
Okay, so
required to discipline their body, their voice, their mind, their skill set, all of it before they come here. And they come here and they're just light years ahead of everybody because here we have this little box that we're all in and we have vocal fry and I'm stop. And that's the training that they have, and it's bullshit. And that's what we're actually battling, I think, at Drama Inc. We're trying to get people to use your entire body is your instrument. Like, I'm sorry, we're not just doing close-ups in this film.
Right.
We get a master, we're getting wides, we're getting coverage, we're going here, and you got to be dialed in every take, and you cannot do that from the neck up.
Well, it's the same thing. Even a voice actor, I'm not on camera, but if there's anybody that it took my cues from as far as like really wanting to be good at what I'm doing, it's Mark Hamill. I mean, you watch Mark Hamill in the booth. He is acting. Everything he does has a movement. He's standing up. He's moving around. He's got his facial expression going on. Everything about that is, you can't just talk.
Like Troy Baker, he's one of my favorite. I adore that man. He's been around for a long time. He's played some of my most the characters that I fall in love with playing in video game. I'm a big video game fan, and Troy has played a handful of characters. Yeah, and Mark, you're absolutely right.
He's brilliant. Did you see he's playing Skeletor in the new He-Man? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, come on.
What the fuck does Mark Hamill not do? Let's be honest. He's in any and every.
I'm not sure he's knitting anymore. He may stop knitting.
Yeah, I think he did stop knitting because it was taking up too much time on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the guy that went out right as I think it was right before episode 7 dropped. he went out in a stormtrooper outfit on Hollywood Boulevard and talked to people about it, and they had no clue it was him. None. Zero.
Wow.
He did that for an entire day.
Mark is a
He's a national treasure.
yeah.
Yeah, he really is. He
He's
really
a
is.
unique individual.
And once you actually catch his voice, like you recognize it every time, no matter how much he changes. Like that's Mark Hamill, and he is really good at changing it too. He's got a range.
So you mean there's like a signature? You think there's a signature Mark Hamill
There's a tone,
sound that
there's a
is
rasp.
in there,
Yeah.
even though he's doing many different
Mhm.
character types.
Every time that you hear it, as soon as he drops low, you hear
Mhm.
the Joker. Every
Yeah.
time. Because
Oh, okay.
25 years.
Yeah.
There is that signature rasp, I think, that comes in with. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter what he's doing. I think that's just part of. At this
Mhm.
point, what either he's either damaged his voice or it's the quality of his voice, but the rasp is 100%
Mm.
there. And fortunately
Mhm.
for him and all the rest of us, it's a really enjoyable rasp, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think he even had it when he talked about the what was this the line? Something about I was gonna go to Tashi Station. That whiny ass line that he did. He still had the like. This is the worst whine. I think his best moment in the entire Star Wars series is when he's like talking about how his parents, because they're standing around the dead Jawas, and he said if they followed him here, they'd learn it back. And when he says home, it was like his pinnacle acting moment because it's so much emotion in that. And it was just like, okay, that's Mark. We got him. I know the director loved that cut.
So if we can circle back just real quick, and Scott, I want to be respectful of your time because I don't know how much time you need to chill yourself. If you
I'm
have at any
okay.
point, let us know. But looking back at the acting, because I think from the talk about British versus American, I think a big chunk of the British acting schools force the theater, and theater is where you get your shoes on and you sort of that's where you spend most of your time, at least in the beginning of an actor's career. Do you think that is ultimately a benefit for us to pull over here as you go, okay, no, you as an actor, you really need to live on the stage first and understand how to work it there?
Without question. I wouldn't say it's required. I would never say it's required, but I would say it is invaluable. Starting on stage. I mean, yeah, I started on stage. Blair started on stage. Jason and Catherine started on stage. And I'm just saying, just the four of us. That's one example. But what I learned from it, a live, because even without a live audience, I'm still having a live interaction with another actor.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're capturing on film anyway. Even if I'm talking to a C-stand with a tennis ball on it, I have to sell it like I'm talking to another actor. That's where the story lies. We're watching characters. People go to the theater because they want to see themselves up on screen. Not some actor just working in front of a green screen,
Right.
Shooting at Ewoks, for lack of a better. Not that I do not condone shooting at Ewoks. Do not
Shoot
do not
Ewoks.
miss-
I'll jump on
not
that
shoot
bandwagon.
Ewoks.
They're little murder
But it's
teddy
not
bears.
just- Yeah, exactly. It's a personal interaction. It's story. It's people. It's this is what we want to go and see. So that's what you get on stage every time, every performance, every rehearsal. You don't get that on film and TV. I mean, depending on who you're working with. Hopefully, they'll join you on the other side of the camera when they're getting your coverage, but it's no guarantee. But without that, I wouldn't be able to deliver the same thing, from take to take to take. You're right.
I just kicked the shit out of my chair. I'm fine.
How'd you do that to yourself?
Because I'm
Nice.
I'm a masochist.
It's that bourbon.
It's
Put
it's
that
not.
aside
It's,
right now.
I wish the bourbon there'd be more than one of these to make me that sloppy. But no. So
Yeah.
I mean, staying on that same token, with respect to learning your lines and learning. Say what?
I was just about to cough.
Oh,
Good catch.
the
Excuse me.
awareness. Look at that.
Right on top of that.
So looking at that from the standpoint of learning your lines, and I feel like a lot of the actors and I don't know a tremendous number of actors, but a lot of the actors that we've talked to, many of them don't really show up having memorized the entire script. It seems like it's kind of a cliche at this point that they'll come in with some portion of the script mostly memorized. They're looking at it off screen, and they'll come back and they'll run their scene. Do you think that you really need to memorize the entire script? Does that actually give you any benefit, or are you more natural when you can go off the cuff?
Are we talking about like a Denis Villeneuve script, or are we talking about like a 13, 14, 15 page podcast?
I mean, I don't know. I think it depends. This is not self-referential. It's just we're not going to go there. Which, by the way, I still love those performances. But
I appreciate that. I only say podcast because I've been listening to Dan Bush did one with John Boyega recently. Came out called Tomorrow's Monsters, and Darren Criss, John Boyega.
Or Derby Monsters?
It originally was Derby Monsters. They changed the title to
Okay.
Tomorrow's Monsters, and it confused me when I was searching for it. Anyway, Claire has a great role in it. She does like 4 or 5 episodes out of maybe like 8, maybe 10. I haven't finished it yet, but that's a big ask to have John Boyega or Darren Criss memorize their role in 10 scripts. So I'm confused about what you're asking. If you want me to memorize my role in 140, 160 page script, that's probably not going to happen, depending on the size of the role.
Well, so
right?
I
And
guess
depending, we're shooting out of order. We're
Yeah.
shooting pages, 9 pages tomorrow, 6 pages the next day, whatever. I'm going to focus on whatever my shooting schedule is and memorize that.
Sure.
Is that?
I guess I'm
Sure.
going more back toward the standpoint of because in your British schools where these guys they know the script back to front as part of that.
Oh, I'll read it
stage
multiple
acting and
times.
So on.
I will read it multiple times for sure. There's nothing better than being rewarded for multiple readings of something. Go back and you watch Usual Suspects. You go watch a handful of whatever, any number of other projects. But when you're reading through the script a second time, a third time, you're like, oh my God, that's why he says what he says on page 3.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I would never know if I didn't know the ending.
Of course.
So I definitely read multiple times. But as far as like starting to memorize, I'll start. Depending on the size of the role, I'll start soon, but it's all going to depend on the shooting schedule. I'm going to focus on what's coming up. As long as I know the chronology of what we're shooting, why I do what I do on scene 16, but we're shooting scene 7 in 3 days.
Yeah. I
will, hopefully there's a script supervisor and somebody can help out with chronology and consistency and all that stuff. But did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely does. And this is coming from a point of ignorance.
But you're right. There's a discipline with British schools and British actors from the ground up that we do not have here, unless you're in a conservatory, like a serious school in New York. There's some in LA, but they're not. Just across the board. It's not like a guarantee that you're going to get in any drama school at either state university or even any other university here.
It's funny.
How are you comparing like the state universities to let's say RADA or certain places over there?
Yeah, or like AMDA or any number of theater schools in New York. Like a state university doesn't have the funds or really the dedication, I think, in their art department. We certainly didn't have it at the University of Georgia. I mean, I'll say that from my personal experience. It was a good school, and it was fine, and I got a theater degree from it, but it's certainly nothing I would have learned had I gone to, like, Yale School of Drama or something. I mean, or Tisch, which I applied to, I could never afford. But Florida State is a great film school. I applied down there, the BFA program, but I couldn't afford it. So I ended up just going to the university school here in Georgia because I could afford it. I barely squeaked in with the grades I had. Academics were not my strong suit because
the really prestigious ones here, like are they called Lambda schools or something?
Yeah,
Juilliard, and the agents go to the showcase and then they're like, oh, okay, Juilliard, we'll get a lot of people from here.
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned Val Kilmer earlier. I think he's still the youngest, I think, actor to go to Juilliard.
It's a great story in and of itself.
I still haven't seen it. Have I seen his documentary?
I've not. I've read quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I've been a big fan for a long time. I mean, Real Genius is in my top 5. He's
just
brilliant.
say that, dude. It's an awesome
He's brilliant.
movie.
Tombstone. I mean, The Doors. I mean, he's a really, really talented dude. And it's tragic what's going on with him right now.
I was about to say, it's a very bizarre, outside the camera, outside movies, things are strange.
Yeah, that's true. My God, just the trailer for that film. I mean, the footage that he captured for however many decades. I mean, it's just a treasure trove of behind the scenes awesomeness. I can't wait to see it.
If you know anything about kind of his, because they did, I forget the other guy's name, but he has a partner who works with him really, really closely, and they do a tremendous amount for like youth outreach and like getting people into acting, and they've got a whole.
That's cool.
What the hell's it called? I'll send you an article because it was a fascinating read, and if you're a fan of Val Kilmer, it's this person who got like on a wing and a prayer asked him for an interview, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, come on in," and like for a week just got to sit and talk, and it's a really cool. It's a long article, but it's a really cool article. I'll find it for you.
Hey, the minute you said Real Genius, dude, I was like, I remember being a kid and seeing that movie.
Chef's Kiss. I'm sorry, that movie's phenomenal.
Yeah. It is in fact a moral imperative for everyone to read or watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which movie?
Real Genius.
Oh, okay.
It's one of Val's, like, how early was that in his career?
Yeah, it's early. It was one of his first.
Relatively young,
like really, really. I can't remember. I want to say it was his first, but I don't have enough information. But then, like, you flash forward to the late '90s, and you get Tombstone, which was my personal first Western. And I was like, what have I been missing? Yeah, I've never seen a Western before that. Blew me away. I was amazed. And then went back and watched like a bunch of Clint Eastwood ones and stuff like that. But no, he was absolutely amazing. Like everything's The Saint, Heat, like so many great movies he's done.
Yeah. Oh God, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's probably in one of his top 5 roles for me. Dave Perry, God, phenomenal.
Yep. And when you were talking, it was about. Sorry, Clayton.
No, I was just gonna say Twitch chat. You're gonna get the documentary, or not the documentary, the interview I was talking about. It's called "What Happened to Val Kilmer" on the New York Times. I'll drop it in there, and then Scott, I'll send you a link directly. It's an awesome.
I'm not a huge Twitch user. You say Twitch chat?
But he's gonna send it directly.
I'll send it
here. Chat. Do I click a button?
Oh my God! I have to go to the Googles and I type in the thing.
If you go into the top left of the Discord and you see the little face right there and you click on it, it shows all the individuals that you were friends with.
I see them now, all the pictures? Okay.
All the pictures right there, and when he sends it to you, it's going to light up with a little white light on the left side.
Now, can I get a fax from them too? I need a fax.
Faxes here.
I cannot fax to you, I'm sorry. No, I don't have fax.
But I did want to say peripherally that you were talking about how the British have a much more structured and everything they do is much more tenuous. But there's a British actress that I was friends with that got her big break in the what was that animal movie? Zootopia.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with The Island of Dr. Moreau.
No, that's a little bit too far back. But we worked together in North Hollywood at a restaurant. And we were both, she did some live acting stuff and she did some voice acting stuff, and then she got like the first 15 minutes of that film. And we had been going back and forth because she's British, I'm American, and I was helping her with a Southern accent, kind of an American accent, and she was helping me with British. And one of the things she explained, to get a good British accent, and like this is why it's peripheral, you have to arch your back and purse your lips, and as soon as you do this, it's just automatic. You can't stop it. And then as soon as you relax, it's gone. And it was just funny how like, you have to sit up straight. It's that structure that you're talking about for some reason.
Well, it also usually, some people use a long stick on, I guess, it's probably.
Oh, I knew where you were coming from. Nice.
Just for fun, Chris. Just for fun.
Right,
but there's a ton of different British accents. And if you go to YouTube, and there's a woman who, there's a London accent. There's what they call RP, which means received pronunciation. And that's considered, well, it's considered standard. It's what the broadcasters would use, but maybe now a little bit less trendy.
Yeah,
a little more acceptable to have slight some regional
I
things.
think it's almost
York is
cliche.
going to take it over more. Like people talk like that. They all talk like Tom Hardy. They all talk like Ricky Gervais, and this is how they talk. Like most people from England talk like that, and they don't. Most people don't. Like a lot of people are much more reserved. Like you talk to what's his name, Loki, right? Loki speaks like that. Tom
Hiddleston.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston. He don't talk like that. Tom
No.
Hiddleston had a conversation like that. He sounds like a moron.
Yeah, no, yeah. Tom Hiddleston has he has a more standard accent. Yeah, he has a little more RP maybe on Tom Hiddleston.
Right. Well,
I think
the London British, like Della was from London, so she was very London British. She was very, posh. That posh.
London doesn't necessarily mean posh. I mean, South London is pretty tacky. I mean, there's South London, there's East London, there's.
Well, it's interesting, and I'm gonna plug shamelessly.
Queens, really,
So, I'm gonna plug the other podcast here. Seriously, go take a look at the interview we did with Peter Kenny, because he gets into that, where he talks about, like, look, dealing with different voices and dealing with different characters, you jump from whatever the hallmark people think of. So speaking specifically about the South London, like if you're gonna go and find, a bad boy, a gangster, or whatever, you're going with a South London accent. That's what you're going to get. And so you're going to get the Cockney, and you're going to get the, right, we're going to go in here, we're going to knock some heads in, and it's going to be how it is. That's just that instantaneously, like, everyone. Exactly right. And that's one of the things he calls out. He goes, look, you can be Jason Statham. You can be a bad boy and not also a villain. You can still have, but we've got no question that you're going to break someone's neck in the following scene, and we're just accustomed to it.
I can also do a Southern accent and not eat roadkill. I will go to the Burger King. I'll make a good penny pasta. I can do that. I don't have to scrape it off the fucking asphalt.
Although roadkill salad, don't
I won't knock it. But it's the same thing with like Southern. When people say they do a Southern accent, like, which one?
Yeah.
Is it Charleston? Is it Alabama? Is it Texas? Is it Tennessee? Is it Savannah? Is it Georgia? Which one? Like out in the Southern?
Down in Pensacola, Florida, and this is the accent I came back with, and it's just stuck with me for the rest of my life. I'm telling you right now. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah.
That's a good point about.
Oh really? You do New York?
Southern
accents.
Is it
Bronx? Is it Queens?
No, it's
Is it Long Island? Which one? Manhattan.
Fucking Manhattan.
Yeah.
And if you do a New England accent, are you talking Boston? Are you talking Boston? Or are you talking up there in Maine when you can't get there from here?
Same thing with British. There's even fucking Irish. Irish alone.
Right.
9, 12.
Yeah.
Thankfully, nobody ever asks you to do Welsh because they don't believe in vowels.
Well, this is basically this is why we need this is why we need dialect coaches, because they're the specialist. And they're the ones who will say, no, you have to say this word differently or whatever. So, but I have no idea about the different Southern accents. I mean, because I just have never studied that do you know that, like, can you imitate those differences for us? Like, if you say one sentence that's Atlanta or one that's, can you do some different ones?
I can do Texas accent is going to be a little bit more like this, and they love their football, they love their barbecue. Appalachian is going to be a little more less refined, say a little more nasal. But if you go down to like Savannah or like old school Georgia, they're going to be a little more slow, and they're a little more concentrated on what they want to tell. They're going to choose their words carefully. They're going to get the vapors.
They are lugubrious.
Oh, that's good. That's interesting. Yeah.
It is. It's fascinating. And I love hearing that. And I love New York accents because, God, Bronx to Queens to Long Island to even Staten Island, they're so different. And I love hearing that.
One of my favorite accent stories from Brooklyn was the local Italian joint where I grew up, where I lived for a while in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Really great place called Russo's, and it's just like the most amazing fresh mozzarella, fresh sauces, homemade pasta. It just, oh my God, to die
for. Great.
Tony Soprano.
So I'm waiting at the counter, and the guys behind the counter are having a discussion, and they're too busy apparently to help me because it's a very important discussion they're having. And he's like, I don't know. This lady, she walked in yesterday. She said, "You got broccolini?" I said, "What the hell is broccolini? I don't know what broccolini is. What is this shit? Broccolini." I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of broccolini?
Never in my life.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I've worked in a lot of different restaurants too. Bourdain is like a hero.
Mhm.
I
I figure it's like a broccoli Rob. I don't know. It's like broccoli Rob. You know, it's probably a broccoli Rob. But yeah, it's yeah.
Also, why is
Lisa,
it that
did
they
you-
say? Where do they get this idea that mozzarella is pronounced mozzarella?
Yeah.
What's with
Mozzarella.
mozzarella?
Ooh, that's Italian. That's
Dude.
Italian.
The Steph,
But I don't
Steph
think
knows
that's
that.
the way Italians say it.
No,
I don't think they
it's very
say it that way.
specific. I know this because I read a very long article about this once.
Yeah, yeah.
And apparently it was the Napolitano Italians and the Southern Italians. They emigrated to the United States at different times,
Uh-huh.
and so I think it was the Southern Italians basically got here, like basically the Corsicans and people from further down, who were very much shit on in Italy at the time for being lower class or whatever. They had their own very distinct dialect, and a really common thing was to drop vowels and do all these weird things and just basically butcher the Italian language according to the Napolitano Italians. And I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but anyway, so what happened was they ended up in New York first, and so now we have this whole thing where we know what Italian should be pronounced like, and it bears very little resemblance to what we hear in New Jersey and New York, right? So,
Yeah,
Tony
yeah.
Soprano and Gabagool and bada bing and all that. All
Gabagool
that
is like
stuff.
capicola, which is also copa.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
right.
the thinly sliced the meat.
Yeah.
How
How do you
is
get
capicola,
gabagool?
copa, and gabagool the same thing?
Yeah, no, it's bizarre. So yeah, it's all about what vowels you drop and what consonants you soften. Like the G's get softened, the C's turn into G's, and all that kind of stuff.
So that has to. So that's the story of mozzarella being pronounced. I'm just saying it.
Adele. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Well,
Yeah,
something
and,
happened around the 70s with the Copacabana, and everything just went to hell.
The gabagool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people will say it's not Italian, and they're not exactly right. It is it's just Southern Italian, and very a period Southern Italian accent that probably doesn't even exist in Italy anymore. I don't even know.
Exists
who
in
knows?
Hollywood,
Yeah.
That's
But
about
it's-
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very common in. No, you still hear that in North Jersey and New York City, in Brooklyn and North Jersey a lot.
That's
people
how they
pronouncing
pronounce
things.
mozzarella.
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Mozzarella. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
We're all watching Cake Boss.
Yeah. What's Cake Boss?
Bad reality TV about a guy who's
Oh.
it's kind of a take on The Sopranos, but instead it's a guy who runs a very, very expensive cake
Oh yeah.
shop there in Jersey, just across. Yeah. So, anyway,
Reality TV. God, the curse
Paulie
of
Walnuts
the
ever
2000s.
come to visit? Can I just
Yeah.
get a plate of macaroni and gravy over here?
How
I
much
love
for just
Paulie
two
Walnuts.
macaronis? Can I get two macaronis? How much for two? I got 50 cents. Two macaronis.
I just pour my hands for a dime.
Yeah.
I just auditioned for an animated web series where they want the Fargo accent, and it just happens that I do that. But I'm not sure if I'm doing it exactly right, but it gets into this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Lloyd, son of a Gunderson.
there's something
the
fun
wash.
about that whole the Minnesota and that. I mean, I kind of.
Soda.
It sounds very wholesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
it absolutely
Soda.
does.
Yeah.
Being from Chicago, though, and getting to experience a lot of those people, that's definitely not. You get the Bobby's Worlds. Oh, don't you know? That's fine, but
Yeah.
they'll still break your kneecaps. That's
Oh, yeah. Or put you
But
in
yeah,
the
that was one of the references they gave was the a YouTube video of the Bobby's World mom. They said, yeah, that's definitely one of the ones that they wanted this to sound a little bit like
she's
for my
so
audition.
iconic, though. You can at least.
Mhm.
I wasn't
for my
familiar with the
generation,
cartoon, but I watched it and yeah.
Good stuff.
I don't know if it's. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure of the cartoons that we watched as a kid that were still like kind of carried into your adulthood. Bobby's World was one, and
Hmm.
Home Movies was the other one.
Oh,
Uh,
As a kid, how old are you, Clayton? Home
Uh,
movie. I was
he's
like
only
an adult
30
watching
something,
home
man.
movie.
He's only 30 something.
yeah, I'm only 36.
I remember the pilot for home movies coming on. This was when like William Street, Adult Swim wasn't even a thing yet, and home movies started.
Right,
And
and then
of course, we're all getting stoned. I lived in the Roxy Hotel. Well, it wasn't a hotel. It was the Roxy Hotel converted into apartments, and this was
you're talking about
right near the Georgia Georgia Tech Engineer Bookstore on Marietta Street, downtown Atlanta. This was in '99, 2000. I remember watching home movies for the very first time and just side splitting with laughter with Coach McGurk. So I still
no idea.
I
Yeah.
still
I've
do.
never heard
I
of
still
it.
do about Coach McGurk.
You never heard of it?
I love Coach
Nope.
McGurk.
Do you know who H. John Benjamin is?
Nope.
It's
Really?
good.
Yeah.
Another
Sam
national.
Bob's Burgers.
Yeah. Archer.
Archer. Lucy's Daughter, the Devil.
Countless.
Yeah.
Countless
The
others.
guy's never had to change his voice. He has the same voice and everything.
No,
Never
he sounds
does.
just like this. I'm pretty sure he's from New York. I think he still lives in New
Yeah.
York.
He's
He
amazing.
has this very, very
Amazing.
distinct accent that he's fucking hilarious. His timing is
Great.
incredible.
His
But
timing
home
is
movies
bad.
Yeah,
was like one of the best, like for sure.
And, it's funny too because the guy that created home movies, God, now I can't think of his name, but he's
You talking the death
guitar
metal
player.
guy? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a guitar player for.
What's his name?
Death-
Because he also did all of the the Metalocalypse.
Yeah, Metalocalypse. He
Oh,
did
yeah,
all
yeah.
the music
Oh,
for
okay.
it. Chris, is it Chris?
Mm,
Sounds right. Jay Edwards is a really good friend of mine. He's one of the creators and editors of Aqua Teen, and Aqua Teen came on at the same time too. Pretty much premiered around the same time as all movies, and they're about to have a feature come out. Jay has been in LA for a while now, but Aqua Teen Hunger Force is just
No.
That's what like mid 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
late '90s.
I've heard of
yeah,
it, but I
Well,
early
actually,
2000s.
2000s.
early
It ran
2000s.
for- What did it run for? Like
Yeah,
9
that's it.
seasons, and then
Long
they had
time. It went for a
it
long
was
time.
like
Longer than
seven
it should
seasons
have.
live action, which was just horrible. It was really bad.
Well, look, at some point, I think for those guys who you get so far out there, you're like, well, fuck it, we're here. They're going to continue to shovel money our way. Why not get weird with it?
Whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They have done their own thing for a long time, which is so shocking that it just lives under the Ted Turner umbrella. But it's this world unto its own. Like I've been in their offices, and it's just like pinball machines and a live full size Han Solo and Kryptonite and or not Kryptonite, Carbonite. There are no rules. They do literally whatever they want. I think as long as they meet their deadlines and they have something to air at midnight, cool. They got like a free pass.
Did anybody here besides me and probably you, Scott, saw the actual movie that they put out, the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie film for theaters? Did anybody else see that? You saw that?
Yeah.
If you saw that, then you know that whoever wrote it dropped acid, ate a mushroom, then went and sat in a yurt with a lighter for I mean, that movie makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, with like ayahuasca eye drops
Mhm.
for like a week.
Yeah.
And also H. John Benjamin was in that too.
Yeah.
For literally one scene. Like, it was
Yeah,
just,
I don't know
God.
how you can't. That's such an incestuous section of the industry, especially here
It
in
really is.
Atlanta.
It's a very strange swath of people
Yeah.
involved, and they're very dedicated. They've been, they're kind of like lifers.
Yep.
Just they're in it. They're Adult Swim,
Mhm.
and
if
that's
you've
their world.
If you've seen that, like the Aqua Teen, the guy who plays Master Shake, then there's another show called Squidbillies,
Oh,
and he plays the
God.
grandmother in Squidbillies.
Oh God,
Mhm.
Squidbillies.
Yeah, I know. Just how people get away with what they get away with, and it
Well, the
makes me
reality. I mean, let's be honest. And Scott, you can call bullshit on me if you'd like. That's anyone outside of Atlanta. You get 20 miles outside of Atlanta proper, you're looking at Squidbillies.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at billboards for for ammunition and prescription drugs, which is literally what you're looking at in McKaysville when you go up 75 north.
You
Oh, yeah.
also forgot Jesus and porn shops, because they'll go in that order. You'll go, Jesus Saves, and then the Lion's Den.
Gotta get your priorities right, Clayton. What do you need first? You hungry?
Come on, I live
You
in the
need
Bible Belt.
your 9mm rounds. What do you need?
Sure.
Pensacola, Florida had the most churches per capita of any state in the Union. Mine, I said Union. And
Oh,
right
no,
across
we
the
caught
street were
that.
the strip. Right across the street, strip clubs. Every single one of them.
Yep.
Atlanta is a very, very blue
Mhm.
dot in a big red
Big red state.
ocean.
Yep.
Indeed, it
Nice.
is.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
So glad I got out.
Well, especially with the most recent couple of political years, it's gotten
Oh, it's a
extraordinarily
mess.
polarized.
It's a mess.
Frightening.
By the way, call back to the Metalocalypse guy. It's Brendan Small.
Brendan Small.
Brendan Small, and he starred in home movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was Brendan.
He's the one with Coach McGurk. Coach McGurk was Brendan.
Brendan. And tried to date his
Brendan.
mother and
And Dana Snyder. Dana Snyder is a friend of mine. He played Master Shake. Wonderful
his
voice.
voice is amazing.
He's fantastic. Yeah,
I
and such a
can't-
good person too. He's got a great heart. He's just talented as hell and super cool.
His form of nasal on that voice, I can't. I've tried to reproduce it. I cannot get it. It's amazing.
It is.
So impressive.
Is there a sample of that on YouTube? What's the character to look up?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Master-
Shake.
Yep.
And
Master
be
Shake.
prepared.
Sorry, what did you say? It's all at once.
Master Shake.
Huh.
He is
And
a
I want
literal
you to be
shake.
prepared. Yeah, it's gonna
The
be.
show is called Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
And he's just
Yeah.
as funny and as talented on camera as he is
Nice.
behind the mic. Yeah.
Hmm.
His
He's
comedic
brilliant.
timing is just insane. Is that a thing you can teach? I mean, I feel like you're naturally born with it, but can you coach
I don't
it?
know. I don't know. I mean,
Improv.
not without like a lot of improv. Most of it is
Yeah.
inherent. Timing, just inherent timing. It's like watching
Mm.
Bill Murray, Chevy Chase in their scene in Caddyshack.
Mhm.
It's like they studied with Second City and from Canada and everything else that they did, but they just have this inherent thing that is brilliant that they capture.
It's probably just a natural talent for that.
I think it is. I think I
Yeah.
lean more towards that than something that you could teach someone.
Yeah.
I also
You
know
could
too-
teach someone like timing, like in threes, or and they can kind of get a beat down.
Mhm.
But it's more than that. It's more than it's anticipating and knowing just this fucking timing that breaks rules that they have,
Hmm.
and you can't teach that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's magic.
I think
me.
another big factor of it too is that if you don't have a good vocabulary, if you don't have like a lot of experience bouncing off of people, you were talking about, having stage experience. While I didn't do theater, I was a lead vocalist when I first started out in the music industry, and it has a lot of interaction. You've got to be able to entertain the crowd. You got to be able to bounce off of your other guys in the thing. And having that work that over time becomes cumulative with being able to bounce off somebody else quickly. Somebody says a line and you have a word that fits perfectly with, the comeback.
Totally. And while you're saying all that, you're listening at the same time, and you know when to interject or when to let a moment breathe, and when to jump in. And that, I don't know. It's really hard to teach someone that.
That's why
Maybe something with also just the experience of doing a lot of improv maybe can help to just kind of get a feel for it. Yeah.
Very
Kind
true.
of immersive, sort of the same quality of having the immersive language learning. You get in there and you kind of learn the language of comedy, so to speak.
I keep expecting you to jump right in, Clinton. The hairless cat ears are just twitching.
Hang on,
twitching.
I am the most socially awkward human being you will ever. If you, I'm not even kidding. I'm fine because I'm behind a camera and I've got a mic in front of me. I got some stupid right. I've got the apparatus around me. You put me in person and I'm like,
In the
And
headlights,
when
huh?
did you have? It was so. Oh, okay. No, you go first. Yeah, that's all
I
me
would
all the time.
absolutely grab you and noogie. I would. I wouldn't be able to help.
You can't noogie a bald person. You can't do it.
You can. You absolutely
You,
can.
you literally start fires, and you're in California. There's a whole fire risk thing. You can't do that. That's against the law.
We
Mike.
have really big plains with a lot of water. You know, right? So, I've got to
Ugh.
roll myself. I got to get going, but I wanted to, Scott. It was awesome meeting you.
Let me meet you.
If you gaming, like I'm about to. You know,
Oh
so,
shit! Oh
yeah,
shit! Oh
feel
shit!
free. Leave me a message right here if you ever have some time gaming.
How do I do the messages?
I just said you look up over there. Here, I'll tell you what. I'll make.
I don't
Hashtag
see
There
it.
you go.
hashtag
sent you a friend
controller.
request. So you look up in the top of the screen there.
Xbox.
There's a little person, and he has a little plus next to him. You see the little plus person up there?
The plus button.
The plus button up there. And when you hit him, he'll show you that there's a friend request in there. So if you feel like gaming,
What platform are you on?
there's a
Are you-
PS4
are you
in
a
the other
Twitch
room,
guy?
but I don't
I don't do.
have. Yeah,
so-
I mean, I
The only twitching he does is
stream with- I
involving
stream with-
electricity.
yeah, that I'm not even gonna go there. Anyway,
Not even once. No,
not
man.
even once. Nope. My dad.
once
What was?
not
Oh
twice.
my God! What was
It's-
that movie?
it's bad
with
for you
Michael
guys.
Keaton? What was that Michael Keaton movie? Where my
Michael
dad
Keaton?
told me something once.
Multiplicity?
No,
My dad told me.
my
all I
dad
can
told
think
me.
of is the Salton Sea with, back to the Val Kilmer.
Val
line.
Kilmer again. We're
Right.
back to Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
We can't
Nah.
go with Val Kilmer.
But yeah, I've got no. I'm
All
a
the
big
way
gamer.
doing.
It's my life. This is going to end on a very sad note.
So what?
In my life.
No,
Okay, good.
I don't think so.
Saw that in the
But
theater.
either way, PC gamer. So I've got like a ton. I got Steam and all that kind of stuff. So if you.
Steam is what I meant, not Twitch. Steam.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm just a Sony PS4.
I've also got PS4,
Gamer.
but I don't get a chance to play that too often. But I do have the VR for it, so it's fun.
Sweet.
So, but yeah, leave me a message if you feel like hanging out, whatever. Just
Yeah,
a
for
game.
sure. It's great to meet you, bro.
You too. You guys have a great night.
You too, man.
You too. Bye bye.
Yeah, we could probably wrap this up. I think it's getting pretty late here. Do we want to? We wanted to make an announcement about the Twitch stream.
Yeah. You want to break that?
Oh, we're gonna kind of branch off of Wonderville. Wonderville's been an amazing host for all these months, and we had a great time with them. We've done some live shows. We plan on continuing to do live stuff there, but we're probably just gonna we started our own Twitch channel. It's just Mandible Judy. And I think we're going to start in September. We're also going to need to change the day from Thursday possibly to Tuesday or Wednesday. We have not decided yet. But there will be more announcements in the future. We've got a few more weeks before that happens.
How's Under Dead Water coming along, Chris?
It's doing great. It's very, I think basically what I've written is 2 seasons, not 1. So I've got to now decide how to parse out the story and do many more episodes. Clayton's been helping me, and it's been really useful.
It's been fun.
It's so great because you put together all these things, all these connections between characters, right? And then there's so much on the plate. There's so many, I've seen writers put sticky notes all over their walls, right? Well, actually, when I moved into this office, when I first took this apartment, the guy who used to live here was a filmmaker and a screenwriter, and his wall was covered with, I wish I had taken a picture of it because there's all these little sticky notes from the last film he had worked on. Just plot ideas that he had to take and move from scene to scene. I don't do it that way, but it really helps to have somebody else look at the material in outline form and say, we can combine this plot point with this, detail about a character that will really bring them to life, and this is the way this plot point comes out through them, and it makes them more interesting. So Clayton literally just did that for me today with a specific detail, and it was awesome.
Thanks.
So I think we're probably gonna start recording in September. Amanda is the
Okay.
answer. And I'll be sending you script pages pretty soon. So
Okay,
just be-
cool.
But Scott, thank you so much. It's been an excellent pleasure having you here, and really interesting career. And I really look forward to seeing more of what's in store with your future.
Yeah, great to meet you, Scott.
Great to meet you guys too.
Really
Clayton,
fun.
thanks for bringing me on. Nice to
For
meet
sure.
y'all. Yeah, wish you all the best.
At some point, when things are not so crazy, we need to go for a beverage. So,
Yeah, for sure.
all right, man. Thanks
We'll
so
do
much.
that. I'll even do OTP for you.
I mean, there's nothing good to drink out here. all the good stuff is down.
Moonshine, right? Just
Yeah.
like, you know.
It's just moonshine.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's
Anyone
funny.
who's read my stories knows how I feel about moonshine.
Alright.
So-
Unleaded, man. Unleaded.
Yeah.
all right, guys. Well, thanks so much. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the chat here or kill the stream here. But again, awesome to have you on, Scott. This
Thanks, buddy.
this has been one of the better interviews. I've really enjoyed this thoroughly. So
Absolutely.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure. Nice to meet you guys.
Same.
Take care.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
good night.
Later.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
all right. Again, just to reiterate, Twitch, we are coming on a new time, new channel. More news about that. You can find us on Twitter. Obviously, any of the places you get your podcasts. YouTube will be spinning up for archive purposes and so on as well.
And actually, as long as we're still streaming, I wanted to maybe mention that what you could do right now is go to twitch.tv/Mandible Judy, all lowercase, all one word, and just follow us. And when things start to happen, you'll be notified.
Yeah.
So, thanks again for watching. Yay. Thanks, Clayton.
You're welcome. All right, guys, have an excellent night. Be well. Drive safe. And as a friend of mine likes to say, call your mother. Then we're good.